And welcome to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean here on Revolution Radio, Studio A. Once I figured out what Skype was doing. Yeah, stupid thing. It's one of those days. I'm not going to start singing Limp Bizkit. Everyone calm down. Alrighty, okay, so now someone turns up late, and so now I have to add them. But if you enjoyed the last 2 hours with Tony, known as Why Not, and the Y-Files, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can, because we're 100% listener supported. And we're all volunteer as well, so your donations do keep us on air with Studio A, B, and C, also known as the Hawk's Nest. And yeah, I don't know. I had a good night's sleep. It took me an hour and a half to get out of bed. Just feeling a bit tired today, so I'm sure the energy will pick up soon when everyone else comes in. But there you go. So yes, send money, click on the Patreon page, give what you can, obviously, with inflation and all that wonderful stuff. And then pop into the Zazzle store and buy T-shirts and caps and onesies for the little ones and so on and so forth. And then pop into one of our chat rooms, which is on the website. That's the Chatsy one. There is another one, but I mean, that's just another one. I'm not. Hang on. I'll read the thing here. Click here for direct stream links, experimental alt chat at element.io, and so on and so forth. So now there's 2 chat rooms because multiverse. And let's see. It's another week. Where it's the 18th of May according to the calendar. Yeah, you popes with your poping. And, of course, another week, another YouTube video has been removed from Planet Collingwood. So another star is going up a memorial wall here at Wafer Thin HQ. The first one was Election Day 50, Solstice or Justice, Planet Collingwood, the 23rd of the 12th, 2020. But the latest one is Election Day 64. Which is 2 weeks later. This will be a long day remembered, ? Planet Collingwood, the 6th of the 1st, 2021. So I'm not going to challenge it because content that advises false claims with widespread fraud, errors, and glitches change the outcome of the US 2020 election is not allowed on YouTube. So, that's called censorship. Anyway, so, yep, I now have 2 badges on my chest that I've been censored. I haven't checked because I'm a procrastinating, lazy Time Lord. I most likely would have put that up on Rumble, Odyssey, as well as, BitChute. So it's somewhere. I've got a copy of it as well. So if you want to listen to 4 hours and figure out what did I say or what did someone else say, go right ahead. Now, those other people, what they said, they're here today, and someone's got a brand new toy. But before we get to that, we'll say hello, Cortek.
Hello.
And hello, Raz.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, just hit the ground running there, chaps. Now, the person with the new toy, let's hear the dulcet tones of Bruce MacDonald.
Boom mic domination.
There you go. All right. Yeah, those dulcet tones, the bass, the timbre, and you're not quiet. So everyone wins.
We're off to a good start.
Well, we can hear you properly, so.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. I want to do some audio book reading. Yeah, some of my favorite poets, a lot of stuff that's lost its copyright. People love to listen to stuff when they're driving.
Oh, yeah.
Man's got to keep busy, Monty. Man's got to keep busy.
Man, that's a mega
perfect medium, doesn't it? For poetry, actually.
So, now, great. Bruce sounds better on mic, and Cortex decided to go off mic.
Yeah. You sound like shit. No, man. You've completely lost it, dude.
Well,
yeah.
Just end it all then.
Jeez.
Let's not get dramatic there.
Yeah. You're not taking one to the team for the New World Order, are you?
You need to tell me if it's bad, because I'm constantly changing around things and I don't really know what works.
Well, the word tinny comes to mind, like you're talking through an empty soup can. Tinny.
What about that? Is that any better?
No, it's
not
like
really.
it's if you're talking into a microphone, it's not that one. Like it's another mic picking you up somewhere.
Let
It's
me
a lot
check.
of room noise.
Sorry, let me check.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Current year and nothing works.
Yes.
Yeah, that welcome
So,
to play Collingwood. Like, we're just repeating ourselves now. Everything's stuffed. Back to you, Bruce.
Oh, I had a lovely day. I mean, I had the boss, the regional boss from my Abaca company come out. You know, the guy from the German company. And we did a survey of my farm and went over fertilizers and everything. Everything's going real well. I'm a farmer now, Monty, like for real.
Mm-hmm. Straw hat and everything.
Do you have a straw hat and a bit of wheat coming out of your mouth?
Well, I mean, that would be somebody farming in a different locale. I have.
Well, then, whatever you're farming out of the corner of your mouth.
Yeah.
Or is it too big?
You could floss with Abaca. It's that strong now that you bring up dental. So that's just a leisurely thing, but it was a lovely day for me. Life is moving on normally for me. I mean, there's a lot of changes over here. Don't get me wrong. You can see the economy contracting. You can see an increase in everything that would indicate there's stress in the economy. But anyways, let's get on to the show, man, because it's the end of the world, Chariots of Fire, and
did it come any more?
I just wanted to do that.
Yeah, also, Cortek, if I can just point out, Bruce is actually in sync and can be heard, so his jokes won't fall flat, and he can interrupt you if you interrupt him. So balance has come back to the force.
Unreal.
Yes.
Did it become any more apparent to why there was that massive grid hack over where you are? Bruce?
That's an excellent question. I'm not sure the listeners know what we're talking about. Cortek, I'll give you introduction. Introduce the topic, please.
Last week there was a big, I guess what could only be called a government scale hack on the energy grid or something like that, or something big anyway.
Every governmental system. So the Treasury got hit, the Energy Department got hit, the Education Department, the Ministry of Health. We're still under siege. The group's called Conti. They're demanding a ransom. And we just got a new president in. His name is Chavez. And he worked at the World Bank for a number of years. He speaks 4 or 5 languages. His wife is Lithuanian. She speaks 5 languages. And he's a fiscal conservative. I'm really waiting to see what this dude does, man. I'm hoping for the best. Because the last guy was just like a closet socialist. Hey, there's nothing wrong with socialism, okay? There's nothing, but different economies need different things at different times, okay? Socialism is when you've produced a lot, like a generation produced a lot. We have something. Let's see what we can do with it now. Can the government make lives better for people? Generally, the answer is no, but you can't fault them for trying, right?
Yeah, it comes down to balance. With socialism, you don't want monopolies. I think that's when socialism falls into a trap.
Yeah.
Also, they're the best models that we got so far. Surely we can stop talking about this or that old model won't work or won't ever work, but it might be closer to step off and improve. Who knows? I think doing things
right. All right. Let's nip this in the bud. Our systems are full of corruption, so let's remove the corruption instead of starting a whole new system where the corruption will seep in. Why not? You defeatist. What's with this negativity, bro?
Yeah, we've tried about 2,500, 3,000 years so far, and this is made to fail, it seems.
Because of the corruption.
Well,
the system
It's not just corruption, Monty. There's something about systems themselves, okay? So you allow yourself to be a codable node in a larger motherboard. That's what happens when you join a system. You forfeit your individual will. So you have to do what the system tells you to do, right? That's why shows like The Wire are so dramatic for us, because it's all about human emotion and human response. I've come to believe on my years on this planet in this incarnation that the natural response is the best response, whatever it is. And I'm being completely serious. And I think that the systems are going to destroy us. This is really, systems theory begins with the overt organization of human beings in a manner that is completely separate from a natural order. And we've been in it for the whole Industrial Revolution now. And what's happening is certain people you have to break out of this way of thinking. You have to break out of the system. A lot of people are never captured by the system. A lot of people who come here and talk who call into shows and who run shows here, they're not captured. Most of the people here aren't captured, but it's getting to be a very lonely experience, right? And people don't make decisions anymore. What's the point of having a vote if you can't get people to think independently, if the system is really telling you a bunch of lies and misinformation, or the system owns you? The civil service will always vote for the Liberals, right? Whatever the liberal or socialist end of your spectrum is in a political democracy, all your civil servants, which as you get into these Five Eyes countries, we're getting up around 1/3 civil service. I know Canada has the highest civil service to citizen rate in the world. I mean, we're the closest country in the world to being fully communist without calling ourselves communist. Okay? So it's about 1 in 3 Canadians are a civil servant of some sort. So remember, civil servants are everybody that is paid by the public treasury. That's municipal, provincial, state, or federal. And so they're always going over the left. So the larger that economy gets, as we think radically about this, it may be time to rethink who gets the vote. Maybe you shouldn't get a vote if you're paid by the state. What do you guys think?
I like it.
There you go.
I like anything that tries to root out the attraction of the roles simply because it's a big fat trough you could probably insider trade on. To be able to get rid of people who are just in there to make a quick buck or in there for the pension, doesn't matter. I'm just going to go into politics, whatever, then I get a pension and just sit on my ass. I want it to attract the most dynamic people, who want to make a change, and I want them to feel like that they could do that there.
So the civil servants are the most easily corruptible class of people in our societies. And before every election, there are whispers in the ministries in Australia and Canada and the departments in Washington. And they are like, okay, so-and-so has promised to bump up our pension or to do this or to do that. There's something the unions start spreading around to influence the vote, right? And then they all go one way. And like, as I say, in Canada, that's 1/3. People ask me all the time, how could a country like Canada elect a moron like Justin Trudeau? I've just explained it to you. We have the highest civil service to citizen ratio per capita in the world without being an outright communist country. When you live in a communist country, everybody's a civil servant. You work in a factory, you're a civil servant, right? Mm. So this is a huge problem nobody talks about. Nobody wants to talk about this. Everybody else is really quiet.
Common conversation on the Death Star, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, we've got, we're going to be, not going to go out of a job anytime soon, but I'm not sure if we're proud of what we're doing.
Yeah. The Empire did nothing wrong. Yeah, I like that argument. Yeah. For my new safe empire. Yeah. Speaking of which, in 9 days, Obi-Wan Kenobi is being streamed on Disney+.
Ooh.
Well, that's going to be a big deal, Monty.
Yeah, sure.
Jeez, wait till I get to my material, Cortek.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ending's been leaked, and everyone's like, well, I don't need to see that.
Has it? I haven't heard.
Well, I won't ruin it for you. I'll let you watch it and be disappointed with the rest of us.
Obviously, the ending of the first episode, not the ending of the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Google the ending right now.
Don't tell that.
Yeah, I always like when I talk to people in the first world in these Five Eyes boiling pots. Now, what's it like? What's it like to be in Australia now? What's it like? Well, I guess it's just Australia and wherever Raz is, but what's it like to be in Australia now?
Since we've got 3 days till the election, I'm going to put forward, I believe the government's going to get voted in. Now, what is my hint or my feeling or my intuition is the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, who is obviously the leader of the government, has agreed he will sign the pandemic treaty with the UN or the WHO or whatever it is. No! And I'm just thinking, well, we know you're a globalist shill, so yeah, obviously you're going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope not. It would be it would be kind of cementing in stone that every single election now is doomed to be, and probably was anyway, but doomed to be just a brazen theft of people's future.
Yeah, well, most Australians believe that they can change Australian society by voting. So we need to have our 2020 federal US federal election moment of, like, as Razorfist pointed out, the only thing the American people had left was their vote, and then you saw what happened there.
Yeah.
If Eurovision is anything to go by, it was another milestone that, don't bother voting. It doesn't matter. Ukraine wins Eurovision. Does it seem a little bit, what's the use of voting if it's just going to be a fixed outcome?
I have no idea what you're talking about. What's Eurovision for those of us who don't know?
Well, the 14 people listening that have no idea what Eurovision is, it's a song contest in Europe, but they have other countries like Australia join. I have no idea how that works. However, it's supposed
Eurovision is essentially
I'm sorry. I thought this was America. Sorry. I could finish the sentence.
Actually, fine, go ahead.
No, Raz, you have more energy at this point in time, so continue.
I was about to say Eurovision is a modern zoo for our modern world. So all the latest atrocity they want to shove down our throat, they will put it in there and they will make it look really, really popular, and they will make them really, really, how can I put this, hip. For instance, last time Eurovision had Team Sweden, and Team Sweden was extremely colorful, in the sense that there was no white people in it.
And no Nordic people, yeah.
And they were given, a trophy for essentially spazzing on stage. It wasn't even dancing. In Eurovision 2014, we had extremely hourglass figure male with a female haircut and a female dress and a beard, singing a great song. It was honestly a very good song.
If I may just said very quickly,
right,
if I may, apparently I can't. Even though I'm the host on the show, I can't actually get a word in. Thank you for reinforcing my point.
Yeah.
Now, when you say beard, it doesn't mean he has a wife and a handbag. It's actual facial hair.
Actual facial hair, yes.
Yeah.
So,
that's it. Eurovision has been around for 89, a long time. It's from the 20th century, and basically it's a pop song contest. It's where ABBA came from. They entered with Waterloo, and that started their whole career in the 70s.
It used to be funny and cringy and just really kind of funny bad, but Raz is right. For the last 3 years, it has been a total fix-up, just trying to shut down whatever agenda is common.
All right, thanks, Cortek. There's only 3 genders on planet Collingwood: he, she, and it puts the lotion in the basket.
No, there's the asexual as well.
That was funny, actually, love. Sorry, I was muted. That was funny.
Thank you, man.
Oh, look at me. I've got a new microphone, and now I'm funny.
Yes. Oh, this is just the beginning.
So,
remember this day. This day will be remembered where Bruce stood up and took the mantle of
comic. It puts the lotion in the basket.
It was funny. It was.
Did we cover the $40 billion approved last week for Ukraine? No,
not really, because Rand Paul asked a question and it's stuck. It hasn't gone through yet. Do you know what that question was? Is there any oversight? And everything just ground to a halt.
Well, we weren't just going to give it to just catch a plane over and give it to ourselves and go pick it up.
We were going to a laundry and just going to drop off some bags of cash. Have you noticed that Ukraine is a combat area? It's at war, and yet you have prime ministers, the first lady, U2. You have all these celebrities turning up there. Like, I don't remember Charlie Chaplin touring Passchendaele. You know what I mean?
He did.
Really, you've got footage of Chaplin entertaining the troops while under fire. You're lying. You don't even know who Charlie Chaplin is.
Yes, I do. He was Reginald Chaplin's brother.
Imagine if he joined the church. Imagine if he joins the church. Would he be Chaplin? Hey, I want to be the head of a university one day, so it could be called Dean.
Reverend.
I'm glad these children are here. Not only was that frontier gibberish, Howard Johnson is right.
Reverend.
Yeah. There's a movie that could not be made today.
Oh,
The old Blazing
Johnson's
Saddles.
right.
Yes.
So what is going on with Ukraine? It seems to be like really kind of in a limbo right now. The one piece of information I did read, I think I read it on the Council on Foreign Relations, was Putin's response to Finland's joining of NATO. He said, "Yeah, fine, no problem. Yeah, just don't bring any arms in." So it's very hard to get a read on what's going on over there. Now, what Cortek brought up about the money going from Congress, I mean, they're doing the money laundering right in front of us. I mean, they don't even hide it. This is the ultimate.
Is
I wasn't done.
lack
That's
of
okay,
food.
Cortek. I wasn't done, Cortek. But you go ahead.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
When a lot of the countries seemingly claiming lack of food or non-access to baby formula and all this stuff, that could have been, a result of these, 24 and 25 food plants being attacked, in the last month. But it doesn't seem like, shoveling money out to something that seems to be just paying your military shareholders when your country kind of could probably put the 40 billion to better use. Not that the 40 billion is real.
Well, only a week earlier, people were complaining that Elon Musk bought Twitter for $43 billion and he could have ended world hunger. So why? I mean, the US government said, no, this is how radio works. I talk, you talk. Okay. Not talk over each other and people turn off. So what? So I mean, the US government could have bought Twitter, and they could have had a propaganda arm, or they could have ended, world hunger. However, they're in $30 trillion of debt, and all of a sudden, 40 billion. Like, really? Like, and then you have there's all these people. Like, apparently, Julian Lennon is doing an NFT, whatever that is.
Non-fungible token.
Yeah, some crap like that.
What?
He's doing a cover of Imagine, his dad's song, and he's raising money for the Ukraine. And it's like, how much money does this friggin' country need? If you give any country $40 billion, do you really need charity?
Yeah.
Depends.
Excellent.
Well, the 40 billion is not going to the people.
When I shoot the Russians, I like to shoot from my golden AK-47 using diamond-tip bullets. Really?
Can you get diamond-tip bullets?
You're thinking way too much, Cortek.
I just think about.
I'm trying to figure out how to justify $40 billion as well as all these other charities to help actual innocent people. $40 billion. It's like when I think Mr. Burns goes to Cuba and hands over the $1 million note to Castro. It's like, can I have it back? What note?
I was thinking about when Homer went and tried to be Mr. Burns, and he goes, "So, what's your last name?" I don't know. Okay, and this has stalled everything. Hey, where's all this $40 billion going to go? Surely you got that down in writing, and it's all documented.
Is there any oversight? Is there any oversight?
Don't know.
Yeah, that's American politics. Biden's America.
Hey, it's politics the world over.
Yeah.
It's kind of disgusting, though, right?
It's
especially now.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
well,
we need the money now in the first world countries. We need the money. It's time to reinvest in Canada, the United States, and Australia. I mean, infrastructure's falling apart. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know how much you guys travel, but a lot of people have passed us now, right? Like electric rails in China and Taiwan and Japan and South Korea. You can get across the entire distance of South Korea in a couple hours, right? You can travel north to west in Taiwan in an hour. It takes 5 hours to drive on the highway. They have 400-kilometer-an-hour trains. We're not leading the world anymore. This is.
And the very fast train project, that's what it's referred to here in Australia. They still haven't agreed on it. And like the latest plan to put forward of having a very fast train thing, because one of the highest aircraft corridors, aeroplane corridors, is actually Melbourne, Sydney, and it takes an hour by a plane, but it takes 12 hours to drive. And their plan was, we'll build it from, I think, Melbourne up to at least Brisbane, which is like 2,000 kilometers. But that will take 40 years. And it's like, what? Do you know how far ahead the Japanese are already ahead today? Like, if we have their technology, we're going to be 40 years behind them.
Yeah,
it took so long for Australia, the sunburnt country, to get solar panels in. we're the sunburnt country. I mean, we've got space. We could use, and then even then, it's all the half-ass made solar panels. I'm not sure about Canada, but definitely in the United States, the most efficient solar panel is actually from Norway, and they know a bit of thing, but you can't actually import it into the US.
Obviously, they thought the solar panels were going to get sunburn or something.
Well, apparently. So who knows if it's true or not, but a couple of towns in the Midwest were thinking about putting up solar farms, and people complained that the plants need the sun more than the solar farm did.
These panels aren't putting out little panels.
Well, no, they think that I think we could run in an afternoon, if we captured the energy from the sun, it would run the planet for a year.
Yeah.
If we could capture the
Pretty tricky. The wily old sun to try and get between your two fingers.
What's the petrol price for you near you, Cortek, at the moment?
It's still quite high.
Yeah, thanks for scaling it down.
I haven't got a petrol station in about a week and a half.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you for your research. Here we got up to about $2.15, but a litre, which is just, I think there's 4 litres per gallon on a rough estimate. So that's $8 a gallon, or $8.45, $8.60.
It's 5 or more liters to a gallon.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's getting close to $10 a gallon. Yeah. The worst place over here too. The price of gas has doubled, and I need it to run the decorticator, which shreds the abaca, right? So it cuts in a bit, but it is what it is, man. Everything's going to go up, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. This is just the beginning of it. You're in a vice now. It's like that when the toilet bowl starts, spinning and everything is getting sucked in. So I don't mean to be, too negative about this.
And you did it with a toilet too. It's like an added sense of disgust.
Yeah. So this is like, why this is happening, I can't say. I mean, we could theorize till the cows come home, right? I think the whole system is just like an old person slipping on ice now. I don't think there's, there's definitely agendas and intentions going on, and, the Great Reset is there and all of this, but I just don't see any one thing dominating it all. I just see that the central system, the money, is failing because everybody is starting to wake up to what we've known on this. The people on this call we've known for a decade or longer, that there's serious problems with the fiat system, right? Yeah. And it's looting. Let's be honest. I mean, some internationally, at some level, permission has been given to loot the United States. It's been going on since 2001. Have
you seen what's happening in the crypto world?
Oh, can we talk about that since last Wednesday?
Well, from my understanding, the numbers were Bitcoin was 70,000. It's down to 26,000. It's lost 2/3 of its value, and I find it interesting. As you're saying, I mean, if the Taliban is burning all the opium fields again, they're removing 100 million. The dark money, or the off books money, like the drug money, that's been clipped as well, which I think is probably why they're trying to squeeze the money out of their legitimate organizations. And then crypto, for whatever reason, it's been hit as well, because you don't want to have that that illusion of I've got crypto, I'll be fine. Well, not really, because how much money has been lost because, as I said, Bitcoin was up to nearly 70,000 for one coin. Now it's 26. It's dropped. It's just, yeah.
So I got news of a $400 billion crypto sell-off, which seems to be, the whales getting rid of stuff. Because again, I mean, the reason why it seems like, we're in the theater, but then, there's no curtains in the walls are crappy. Everything's seemed to be sold off because they were broke in the first place. It seems like that's, $400 billion, and then what seemed to happen was there is something called a stable coin designated by the government that was supposed to be stable. So beware of adjectives in advertising. That for some reason just completely dropped. Everyone lost their money. It just dropped like the edge of a cliff, and it seemed like then crypto was being used as an extra tool to try and make a crash happen. You have people then taking up that same example of stable coins by, I think, El Salvador and maybe Sri Lanka. And then Friday it was spilling over into, other stocks and bonds. It seemed like a kind of a tumbling effect. And then on Friday as well, they said Prince Charles got up there because the Queen was failing health or something like that, and said that the UK is going to go. That the UK have the stable coins, as they say, is just something else to look into. Stable coins have the approval of the Queen. So it seems like, after what happened with with Terra, this stable coin, that the government seems to be making assertions that they're going to go down exactly the same route. And if they don't know what just happened, it seems like they would be doing it on purpose. So I'm not sure if
well, interesting enough with the Queen, she was apparently having mobility issues, and then she made a surprise visit to Paddington Station and bought a ticket, which is kind of funny because she had to put in a pound with her head on it and used her ISA card. And why is she? So everything's flip flopping. That's the energy that we're feeling, where everything's changing, but does it have to be negative? It could be good at the same time. Now, here's a question for you. With everything that we're talking about, if we go with the classic problem, reaction, solution, do you see humanity going, when the New World Order puts forward the solution, do you think anyone's going, yeah, all right, because everyone knows who created the problem?
That's why no one wanted the reset with the people with pointy shoulder pads.
Yeah, but they're still trying to do, here in Victoria, we have the pandemic laws and stuff, and the vaccine mandates is like the federal government wants me to look for work, but the Victorian government won't be allowed to work. Yay. And so they're trying to bring in that the World Health Organization will have jurisdiction to call a pandemic and have the controlling apparatus over all the countries. So
is that
basically,
Fauci again? Is that Fauci again? I heard him poke his little head up, ask for more judicial kind of powers. Don't know how this guy's not in jail.
I don't know. If there was only a search engine on an internet that you could check. I know. Well, Fauci did say if Trump got back in as president, he wouldn't work under him, and everyone's like, "Oh, there's an incentive."
Oh, quick! What's the ballot paper? I don't know how these guys are in any way. I mean, because they work for a private industry that only has the name national or global or whatever, it deems the property they want to try to overtake and rule. It's I don't know why these guys aren't in jail or at least under scrutiny in some court for all this stuff that's happened.
Trump getting in will be insane. There's this other guy called Nick Fuentes, another mess. It will be really, really hard right now to have anything with the word America or first or only or before whatever to get in the election, American election. Just watch. And earlier you guys were talking about cryptocurrency. Anyone heard about Terra Luna?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Terra Luna, lost. This is the last story.
I was reading the stories. I was reading the stories. That was pure suicide. That was pure depression. I mean, some guy put in like $500,000 in it and lost all of it. It's insane. But of course.
What I find interesting is that it was designated a stable coin by the government.
20%. You're going to get 20%. That's
okay. First, who designated it a stable coin?
Not sure.
Well, you were about to say it, Cortek. It got designated a stable coin.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's no real formal certification in the.
No, I don't know that. I don't know that much about the stablecoin business. Or how it's popped its head up so quickly, and why multiple governments seem to be using the same terminology.
Yeah. So this is just another example of looting. So this is what I'm saying. There's a certain class of people that know what's going on, and everything is a scam now. Everything is a scam.
Remember Dogecoin? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a massacre. That was a massive massacre.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how people are. And if people fell for Dogecoin and Luna Terra, they're gonna fall for it again. There will be new
Well,
suckers for it again.
yeah, but I mean, there's a larger problem, and the only way these scams can exist is in societies where people don't want to work. That's this whole like get quick rich and make money out of nothing. I like the concept of becoming super rich on crypto is a little repulsive to me. It just like the entire not
It's
no early investors I have the highest respect for. Like the highest respect. If you got in under $100 on Bitcoin, you're a genius. Um, but because that was when you recognized the true value of the product and what it might be able to do, and you invested, and there was no
Mhm.
promise of money, right? And so that's what the principle of investment was created for. But it's just so perverted now. I mean, George Soros once said that what I do for a living should be illegal, but it isn't, so I do it. He just basically, in a backhanded way, he just gave you his entire moral character as well,
Yeah.
you
right?
mentioned it's the incentive here is to make money quick. I believe the incentive is more like the same thing that happens to the human psychology in a casino. If you see enough people winning, you will have the urge to invest and try to win big too. And when you look at the
Yeah,
casino, I'm not going to go into the psychology of it, but that's exactly how it is. You see enough
yeah.
people winning, you're going to try to play it and tap your chance as well. So there's that a factor in too.
That's
And
the big that gambling is to the Chinese what alcohol is to the Irish. It's the biggest
it's
curse on the
it's
on
in
this.
it's in the
You can't.
genetics.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you can't even believe it till you see it. Like you're in a casino in Macau or anywhere you go now. Any
Hmm.
casino. When I go to a big casino in Costa Rica, half of the people there are Chinese. When I'm walking around Costa Rica, I never see Chinese people.
Half of the
Right.
people in Hamilton, New Zealand were Chinese. Not
It's true.
just like Chinese, but East Asians, very East Asian facially.
It's true.
It's
It's true.
it's how it is. They love that.
I still like,
Yeah.
from a spiritual point of view, someone is an idiot because they haven't thought this through. If you wipe 3 billion people off the 3D plane, they're going to wake up in the 4D plane and there'll be a mass revolution. It's I know you drop body, but still, like, have you thought this through, you idiots?
One would
No.
think if you drop the body, then like someone being blind, or our old depictions of our shamans, a lot of the times were lost in sight. A lot of the times when you lose that other bit, you're more
Monty
powerful than others.
Monty brought up a good point. Let me ask you, savvy gentleman, a question. A simple answer will suffice. Do you think they're
Obi-Wan.
trying to remove people or have more people be born? What are they trying to do right now?
Well, that's an excellent question. It seems obvious to me they're trying to reduce population. Next.
Monty, what do you say? They're trying to reduce or increase population?
Yeah, they're trying to, but it's backfiring because,
Okay.
like, say 100 years ago ish, they had the Federal Reserve come into the United States, and what was the population round about then? 2 billion people. Then you had the Great Wall, which took out millions of people, not a chunk. And then, I mean, the greatest threat to humanity in the 20th century was government. And I think 250 million people got killed by government.
Systems.
Yeah, and so now we're nearly coming up to 8 billion people. So I think this is why they're probably a bit cranky, because everything they do, it's not working. There's more of us now.
Here's a title for
And
their
so,
next top 40 hit, Broken Cranky.
So I think they're trying to remove people, but the subconscious backlash of humanity as a collective is to outbreed them. Like even Alex Jones said when he found out that they don't want New World Order, don't want you to have kids. He had 3. This is like, well, guess what? I'm going to have children. People keep having kids.
I think
they're everywhere.
I think they want to remove the pre-millennial, pre-Zoomers group of people and rapidly breed the post-Zoomer group.
Well, that does kind of make sense because they're an interesting generation. It's all like, my pronouns is like, what about sovereignty? No, my pronouns.
It would fit in the reset
Yeah,
definition.
because it's all about splitting instead of having two genders, or there's homosexuality, heterosexuality, bisexuality, and asexuality, but there's all this other stuff and transgender, and which is fine if that's your spiritual thing of like I feel like I'm in the wrong body, so I'll change it. But it's turned into a political campaign, and they're aiming it for the kids, and they're trying to get everyone to be like. When was the last time you saw a tomboy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds going, I'm a lesbian or I'm bi. Push to that, question by the schools.
Why is there anything sexual anywhere near children before puberty?
Not even in primary school. It's just not appropriate, and it's not the government's job to do that stuff.
Well, no. Well, that's what's happening in Florida. You had all these kindergarten teachers upset that they can't talk about their sex lives to their kids, and people with a brain go, "Good, you sick pervert."
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think I saw the same thing, and there are all these woke guys in there or guys and girls with dyed hair and stuff. It's just they really haven't worked it out for themselves yet.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like we're all the age of like, if we asked our teachers anything about their love life, what was the response? None of your business. Anyway, question 4.
Yeah, not appropriate.
Oh, thank you for stepping on the joke there, Cortek. You're a professional.
I thought you were asking me.
He's out of control again. It's the Adderall month.
Yeah.
The street or
youngins with their Dan Fuglehorn and their whiz pop.
I hope they don't come back. Oh, the Villaveza came out at the FIFA about 10 years ago. The horns, honk, made out of plastic, came out of nowhere. No one saw it coming. No?
I don't have any idea.
You're on your own there. Oh, but the plastic trumpets have been around since the 80s.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Welcome to our timeline, Cortek.
This is the 80s now?
No, people. Have you noticed? Like, I think every 20 years they sort of go back a generation and go. Like in the 80s, it's like, the 60s, man. But when they brought back the 80s, it's like I was there. You're remembering the crap bits.
Yeah.
Can't you remember the good bits?
Come and play this 8-bit video game rehash. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, we've got 4K now. Oh no, but look, there's only 2 colors.
Pong.
It's the same thing. It's Ryan. I can't remember his last name. Actually, Bruce, your friend, I can't remember his name. Alan is aware of him or has met him or he knows Ryan. He does small videos that go up on Twitter, and he did a great thing where it's like a racist and a woke guy. And they're basically saying the same thing. We need the blacks need their own drinking fountain. I agree. What? Oh, there should be a black national anthem. And like, you sound like the bigots that you're fighting against.
We need a reset.
But what, a natural one?
Yeah, a natural reset. The way people think is just so decrepit now in North America and Australia. It's just like, it is. Let's be honest about this. Let's stop lying about this.
Would you agree? Would you agree with this statement that there's more mental illness on the left than the right?
Can we use those terms?
Well, Jesus, Cortek. What? I don't even remember Monty's question now.
Basically, what I'm saying is like, there are people on the right, and I don't like using the labels. It's just easier, and there's right-wing extremists. There's a guy called Tom in a basement going, I'm a racial purity. Yeah, whatever. Tell your mum you're staying home. But most of the left, like, I'm a proud ally, and I march against racism, and I've got everything else. Like, I do all the right things, and I believe that climate change and all this type of stuff. Also, I'm heavily medicated, and I'm talking to 3 therapists.
Yeah. I don't think it's a left-right issue anymore. I think it's about people, again, going back to people who've been trapped in the system and can't think outside of it, and people who are still autonomous, living, conscious human beings.
Can we talk about those same human beings, though? Those kind of Soros-paid, tile-throwing human beings who seem to be the same human beings involved in 2000 Mules? I watched it since last week. There is a lot of people out there, if this is the case, that probably thought they were doing the right thing, that we saw, mobilized in a way that they were ready to do whatever it took because they believed what they believed, and they thought it was just a bonus, they were getting paid for it at the time. But there's a lot of people out there, that might be feeling with this 2000 Mules thing somewhat a bit of a grief to know they're doing the wrong thing.
Has anybody watched any of the rebuttal, the criticism from CNN and MSNBC and so on and so forth?
No, I read it once in an article because they were talking about some of the small minor parties here in Australia spreading conspiracy theories about election fraud, and they brought it. They didn't name. I think they named it once, or there's a documentary, but they said it's fallacies and jumping to conclusions, and they said the data is untrustworthy or something like that. Is that sort of where they're going with it, Bruce? Because you've probably seen it more. They're trying to debunk it without actually looking at it. It's very like how there's no evidence of election fraud. It's like, well, how do you know that? Because the court said, but the courts also refused to look at the evidence. So refusing to look at the evidence means there's evidence.
Yeah, there's no evidence of Fred dropping off those ballot papers. How did you know his name was Fred?
Yes, go ahead, Bruce.
What was your question again, Monty?
What is there in their debunking? What is their angle to say? Oh no, this is garbage.
Okay, so this is a gem here, folks. Listen up, okay? Because this is used often in very different areas. They play what I call the knowledge inequity. And the knowledge inequity is that nobody is going to be literate about this geo-tracking technology at a technological level, and so they can just blow smoke up their ass. And that's what they did in all these criticisms. If you understand the technology, they literally lied. Now, the reporters don't even understand they're lying because they don't understand the technology. The way they work is they just call up the person in their Rolodex that they think would know this, and this is what a reporter is. They have contacts, right? So I'll call someone in Silicon Valley, but that Silicon Valley is a political guy, is a political ally. So he gives you kind of a perverted understanding of how the technology works. In the purest sense, that is prima facie. 2000 Mules, the documentary, is prima facie evidence on itself for a grand jury to be assembled, in my opinion.
Totally.
If I can step in very quickly.
Hold on, I'm not done.
It's a short sentence. They have video of the guy going to different boxes. That is enough. Go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Monty.
Shut up. Sorry, I was doing a Cortek impression. No, you were saying that
butterfly wings, Monty. Butterfly wings.
On your opinion, you can bring together a grand jury with the evidence that's in. There's enough evidence that it should be looked at least.
Yeah, so for a trial like that, you would bring technical people in who've actually worked on the technology at a hardware level and bring them in as expert witnesses and explain it. Find the technical writer, the person who can explain it in simple language to people so they get it. Okay. And then nobody will deny it. And it's undeniable. But this is part of a larger pattern. They play this economics is entirely run on a knowledge inequity. If people truly understood what money was, they would have slit throats in 2007 when that fiasco happened with the mortgages. Okay, they literally would have hung people if they truly understood what money is. And this looting's been going on. Like I said, Enron just popped into my mind again. Okay, Ukraine is the latest form of the looting. It's just another form of the looting.
Yeah.
So the public treasury is being looted and taken out of the country. The people are being looted. So, damn it, I'm just going to say this. I've been right for 7 years. Everything I've said is coming true. So if I'm right, here's what's going to happen next. They're going to go after that 5 or 7% of people in every G5 or Five Eyes country that kind of made it. Like my brother's one. There's a lot of people that it worked for them, right? They ended up in a salary that they made over $300,000 a year. They're able to retire, and they've got, anywhere from 8 to 20 million Canadian, Australian, 15 million Canadian saved. This is your high-end professional, your dentist, your orthodontist, your general practitioner doctor, your veterinarian, your chartered financial analyst, your chartered accountant, these kinds of people, right? They're going to grab all their money.
Generally,
They're not
pretty high work ethic with those people too. They're in
Yeah.
it because a lot of doctors that just love that kind of feeling of helping people and getting paid for it. And there's some jobs that aren't so morally bankrupt that you can do that in. There's not many.
Well,
But they're
I don't.
generally you got to work hard if you're in those roles.
You got to study hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dentists, you can just charge whatever you want.
But so they're gonna and then successful entrepreneurs and stuff like that. They're gonna go after all that money. It's gonna because really all you got to understand is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you weak and impotent and unable to take care of yourself, so you consent to them going to the next level of the reset to take care of you. It's for your safety. It's for your baby's formula. It's so you can eat. And then all these proselytizers will come out, right? And they'll be kind of like evangelicals, but for the Great Reset. And you'll start to see it popping up in sitcoms and columns. And so they're going to spread the message out, okay? But they can't do it now because people are too wed to property ownership. So they need to keep hammering away at that, and that's what they're doing now. And if you understand what they're doing, figure out a way to survive it, okay? So as I see the world going, if you're in a fight with them, you're going to lose. The only way to survive is to avoid the fight, which is autonomy. Now, people might say, well, Bruce, what are you talking about? They could walk up your hill and shoot you in the head. That's a lot more work for these people. There's way more of us than there are of them, right? So they got to control the system from the top. And that they do that through the straw man. Look at how they've handled everything in the last year and a half. Look at how they handled Ottawa with the truckers. They went after bank accounts. Look how they're handling Putin and the oligarchs.
Yeah.
They're going after their money.
Again.
It's nonstop looting. Looting is and why are they looting? They're looting because they know this place ain't going to be around much longer. That's why they're looting. And this level of looting is coming from officialdom. It's coming from corporate raiders. It's coming from like this sort of oligarch level, or what do we call an oligarch in our model in the West? A billionaire?
An entrepreneur.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah, he started in his garage, Monty.
Yeah. Well, it's we're waiting for the bail-ins while they're doing all this stuff. I mean, here's a silly question: where does it's to pay debt to who? And like even Jeremy Irons has pointed this out. Who do we all owe the money to? Is there someone just going? There's a guy called Jeff in a shop just outside of Chicago going, I'm doing quite well.
So if I owe you $100 and you owe me $100, and the debts were brokered by a middleman who gets 10%, you and I can't shake hands and wipe the debt off because the middleman wants his juice. That is the problem right now. Okay? Yeah. And everybody, the universe, God, the creator, whatever you want to call it, is forcing everybody to see this. And the other side, because they're really good with all the occult stuff, like seeing the future and all that, they know this too. So what they're doing is they're crafting a narrative to appeal to you for when you come to the realization that this system is finished. But if you go into that reality, that's the one where they lock you down. I think they stake you to the earth in perpetual incarnation through nanotechnology and stuff like that, or whatever that version. Their version of hell would be an endless repetition. Souls would go insane if they had to keep coming in. Well, we are. We've been doing that for a while now, and we are kind of going in at a soul level. We've gone insane, right?
Yeah. And it's like really like many a night I go outside and throw rocks at the moon and swear at it. But,
Ow! Hit me in the head again. Damn it.
May I F off your SpaceX. Go ahead, Rez. We're coming up to the end of the thing here.
There's a thing called a soul matrix. So right now you are connected to that soul matrix. The soul matrix is in the higher dimensional, is in the unseen. So the sort of soul entrapment you're talking about will sever the connection with the soul matrix. So it's not that we're going to go nuts. We're going to be isolated, a whole new level, something that's never been done before. And this is a very, very old plan. This plan goes all the way back to the 90s, actually. It's a what you would call a Zeta plan.
the
Eons.
1990. Yeah, I'm still. I'm
Millennials
still like,
call eons these
yeah,
days.
yeah. I know. It's like, oh, a very old plan. 30 years. I'm like,
Oh,
I was thinking like 50.
90s.
Yeah,
90s is the old well. Anything that falls in the
yeah,
category
yeah.
of
Let me try and get the comedy out for a second. I always thought you were going to say 6,000 years, but no, I'll go with 1990s because it does feel like that's 5,000 years ago. With all the stuff that's
All
been
right.
happening. 2020, what a decade.
All right, the inception of the plan is actually 9,000 years old. The sort of implementation and looking at the whole thing is just 30 years old.
Yeah. It's because, like, I mean, you could even point out like Y2K was one of their first salvos, and that didn't work. And then, however long, September 11th. You are listening to Studio A. Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Yeah, too many hosts, not enough listeners. You're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. I'm quickly going to go to the toilet and then beat up my cat. We'll be back after this. I'm having way too many. Yes. Yeah, it's who was brought up with yo-yos? Hi-yo! You're listening to Bruce saying hi-yo over and over again. Studio D, where Bruce MacDonald says timing. Okay. Yeah, the secrets of comedy. Timing.
Caught me sipping a coffee.
Oh, well, I caught you doing many things. What the hell am I talking about? You are on Revolution Radio. This is Studio A, Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. That's Cortek, that's Raz, and that's Bruce MacDonald. And we're having a bit of a chat. We're just expressing ideas and loosely doing commentary of what this reality is like, putting in some jokes, and waiting 18 months, and then YouTube will remove it. So, I mean, it's a pattern. It's an honest living. But, there you go. Now, wake up. If you enjoy the last hour, please donate to the station. We're 100% listener supported, 100% volunteers. We're the longest running crowdfunding project on the internet till someone tells me I'm wrong. So just go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio. Click on the Patreon button, give what you can. Shekel here, a denari there, $4,000, whatever you can spare in reality. So, don't sell the house. You kind of need that. And then you can buy some merch, especially coming into the the summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and then pop into one of the chat rooms, which is extremely quiet. Hello, chat room, if you're out there. Maced is there. May Street or Maced, however you say.
Yes.
Yeah. Cortek still broadcasting live from a baked bean can.
That was me being chat room.
Uh-huh.
Obviously not chat room voicey enough.
No. Sorry, I've been watching Pam and Tommy. I don't know if it's supposed
Finally.
to be.
Finally, a subject worth talking about.
Yeah, no, I told you to watch this when it came out, Monty. I mean, I'm a little partial because Pam's a Canadian girl, but it's a great story. I knew Tommy Lee too, man. He used to come into the Marble Arch strip joint. I bartended there before I went to Taiwan. But hey, sorry to step on you. It's the boom mic dominance. I can't resist the power. It's like the ring, Monty.
Yeah. Oh, and Loco Moco 808 is there as well. 808 in the house, yo. Yes, I know. Melina. Oh, don't make me say words. That's only my job here, but still, I'm not good at names. I'll call you Terry and Sam. Anyhow, it's a parallel. It's I know they haven't got everything factually correct in the story, and it is not Joe Rogan. It's the other one. Who's the other Rogan? Seth Rogen? Is that guy's name?
Seth Rogen, yeah.
Yeah. I like him in this because he's acting and he's not trying to be funny. And I feel his acting's better than his comedy because when he's trying to be funny, like chairs are going to be thrown. However,
I never got the guy, to be honest. I never got Seth Rogen.
No. Like I saw Sausage Party or whatever that is, that animated where all the food have sex. It's like someone's been hitting the bong way too much when they wrote this. But with the Pam and Tommy, it's made really well, and I never thought that I would. It's Tommy's played by the same guy who plays Bucky in the Marvel movies, and so I've seen Bucky talk to his penis. It's kind of weird.
So it's like a mockumentary.
Well,
Winter Soldier?
Yeah, the Winter Soldier is talking to his penis.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah, but that's what actors do. It's not the Winter Soldier talking to his penis.
Another sign of the times, Monty. Another sign of the
Yeah.
times. Actors being taken seriously.
Interesting enough, the girl that plays Pamela Anderson, she is an English lass called Lily James, and I couldn't recognize her at all. Like the makeup or whatever they've done to make her look like Pam is stunning. It's like, oh my God, because she's in this movie called Yesterday, where she's the love interest.
Yesterday.
And Cortek, if you're gonna eat, mute.
What?
Jesus.
I'm not eating.
Nice.
Oh well, you're making too much
Not me.
noise.
Might
Anyway,
have been a deep fake. When are we gonna? Do you think we'll get notices on movies when they've just deep faked rather than use makeup? And does it matter?
yeah. And what budget do you have? Like a 10 episode 40? No, it's called Makeup. Anyway, when she's in the film Yesterday, which is a Richard Curtis film where there's a blackout globally and one guy could remember the Beatles and no one else did. And so he made a career out of playing Beatles songs. And she's the love interest. And she looks completely different to how she is in Pam and Tommy.
That's ripped off Zombieland too.
What?
There's a young, Zombieland, Double Tap. There's a young guy in that who then there's these young people out there who really kind of lost that connection to their parents and all that kind of stuff. They're on the road, and this guy sings some Bob Dylan songs or something as if they're his own songs.
What?
You with me?
Are you on the pharma?
Apparently, so I think it's important to keep track of the things. Apparently, it's week 12 of Ukraine. So let's just keep a count on that. Anyway.
I have an intuitive hunch. Raz could take us in a rich and rewarding direction for 5 or 10 minutes. I think he's got something he wants to talk about.
Well,
Is that true, Raz?
I do as well, being a host of my show. But no, sure, we'll just let Brad.
I was
Sorry,
actually
Monty.
just looking what's up on Netflix, but okay.
What is that?
You're up.
That's the type of guest.
You're
we
up,
get
Monty.
here. That's
Monty, the headliner's in traffic. You're up, Monty. Go.
For the third time, I will try and start. Yeah, this is why we're not getting anywhere, fellas. We can't get out of the minor leagues because we're not professional. Everyone talks over me. The disrespect is great. You're just lucky that I'm an alcoholic and I miss interaction with idiots. For the fourth time, I have to remember what I was going to say. Oh yes. Have you heard a guy called Joe Biden?
Yeah. His wife's going to be in Costa Rica like tomorrow.
Well, she's doing the rounds. Like she ended up in Ukraine. Oh, that was funny. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, when he went to Ukraine, he was wearing a fetching blue suit. His hair was everywhere, because he's clownish. And he walked around a war zone, a combat area, wearing just his suit, and the cameras were there. And then about a week later, he went to Manchester and put on a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Apparently Manchester is worse than Ukraine. All right. So Joe Biden, he actually went to Buffalo, New York because of the shooting there, the tragedy, which, people may call it a false flag. And we're not sure, but people did die. That's what happens in false flags. Now, Joe wouldn't go to what was that place? It starts with W. It's near Chicago, where that moron got in his SUV and just ran through the parade at Christmas.
Woolworths.
Yeah, how about a real answer?
Someplace. Keep it going.
You're making light of an 8-year-old girl getting hit by a car and dying.
Not
good for you.
specifically, I'm not. That was you.
No.
I
Well,
felt good.
anyway, it's interesting that the President of the United States, who said, we have to stamp out white supremacy, is like, well, aren't you the supreme leader of the country, you white man?
That would be you
So,
first.
How about you daft twit?
A little moment called Cracker Pride here on Collingwood. Cracker
Yeah,
Pride.
man. Yeah. But he wouldn't go to New York during the subway altercation or Christmas because it wasn't for the family. He only goes where there's a white shooter, not a black shooter, and it's interesting. Like that's transparency through hypocrisy. Where have you noticed that highly racist dude that went in New York and shot up the subway car? Was that he's black, and the story just dropped like a stone
Like a stone.
It's right next to Megatron in the Marina Trench. That's how far the story was buried.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a Transformers reference.
I got it.
Yeah, good.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Cool.
No, but there is a lot of race baiting now. But you see, the thing about these kinds of mental programs is that if you overplay them, they break. And they're all overplayed now. And the one that's overplayed the most has the initials and AS, right? And it's breaking down as a defense system. And all of them are breaking down now. And I think there's going to be a big kumbaya moment. Probably, not in some places. But look, I think that everything that's going on now is natural and good and is going to force human beings to become better. And I think the thing that plagues the Western world now is ideology. And it's because we sent too many people to university to get stupid liberal arts degrees. And, again, they fall into system conscious. And what am I going to do with this? I'm going to become a social worker. Well, I better keep believing this the rest of my life. It pays the bills.
That was infested in the 80s where all these, the hippie left winger, Judy, she's a bit wacky. Unfortunately, she came back to the university and became a teacher and is teaching kids. And so that spread. Like universities for the longest time was the idea like comedians and people who go to like Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin, people who do events used to like going to universities because it was a free speech area. Like there was open air and you could share thoughts. There was the idea of trying to figure stuff out. But now it's my way or the highway, and you don't support that. You're not an ally, so you're a Nazi. The word Nazi has lost its complete use as a label, because you point out in the Ukraine these are actually Nazis, and it's a blank stare. It's like, yeah, but Russia invaded them. They're Nazis. Yeah. They're killing their own people. And it's like, the war's been. This is not having a go at Cortek. I'm just putting this out straight away.
Have a go,
No, it's not having a go at you because people, Ukraine's only gone for 12 weeks. It's like, well, the Ukraine have had military conflict for 8 years. Yeah. It's been going on for 2014. And it's like, because apparently it was paradise before the Russians went in. Like, you're changing history. And sorry, 10% for the big guy.
Hot tub time machine.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me of that reference. I know it's a movie.
Okay. Yeah, Ukraine used to be. Yeah. Everything going on in front of us now is a farce, Monty. It's just a farce, and all that remains is for people to wake up to it and be so incensed that they want to do something about it. When we get back to the generational topic, there's something to what Raz said, right? There seems to be a cutting off between, age groups and how this situation is being interpreted on the planet, at least the information being given to people, right? Has anyone on this call ever stopped to think about what it might be like to be like 20 years old now, 25 years old now?
Sort of. Yep. I've got an example. Let's see if I can. Raz, may I ask, what skin tone do you have? Being from Mauritius, I'm thinking you're not pasty white.
Indian.
What you would call swarthy. How do you pronounce that? Because I got a French accent. Swarthy, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern. I look completely Arab.
Okay, so
brown skin Arab. So
yeah,
just
brown.
Yeah.
Arab. Now, okay, yeah, brown. I'm not going to use that ever again. and thank you for sharing. However, our generation, everyone on the call, we would call Raz our friend, but a generation, 20 years younger than us, would call Raz not our brown friend, but you know what I'm getting at. Well, that's our Indian friend, or that's our black friend.
They put it in the title.
Or simply our Habibi friend, which I made a lot of joke out of in New Zealand and got a lot of people, laughing about it because they understand how 2 decades ago it would have been, they would look at me completely different.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing where television needs to be diversified. Well, we're from the 80s. There was diversity. Now, obviously, maybe not in the corporate structure where they're not human anyway and they're evil vaginas, but.
You could have said anything else just there, but it's true. It's true. You're not lying.
Yeah, I also want to keep my job, so I'm not going to say vagina. See what I did there. Now, I used to watch Family Matters with Urkel. And, the Cosby Show before we found out what he did with pudding. And it's Star Trek all the way through was diversified and everything else like that. But for whatever reason, in the last 10, 12 years, it's turned into a focal point of existence. Where no, we need to have diversity. Yeah. Basically, it comes across as we hate the white man. And so for people saying we have to stop racism, that does include the Caucasian race.
It just comes across super token, like late 90s Benetton ad or something.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a black person. I'm a person of color. It's like, oh, you're going back to colored. Really? I thought you were a progressive, not a regressive. This is the level thing, and in the UK they have BAME, which I can't remember what that means, BAM or something like that. They've got it basically means, BAME, it basically means not white, and it's like they're all the minorities and blah blah blah. However, if you watch television, I watched Sex Education, the TV show.
That was great. Did you watch that since he was announced as the new Doctor?
Yeah, because I wanted to see he's a good actor.
He's really good at it.
Yeah. Now the thing is that show's got heart, and people could say it's woke, but it's like you haven't watched it, have you?
It was kind of before that.
Yeah, but it's not. It's the tackling stuff, and it's done really well. But the thing is, I think it's very difficult to find the native English in it. There's a lot of British people, but where are the white people?
Yeah, and the high schools are very US looking. It's like a US high school situation.
It's probably a private school.
Setting or something.
It's probably a private school. That's why. But my point being is, like, even the BBC, they've been pushing all this stuff. But the thing is, I mean, the British elite must love it because they've been colonizing the planet for centuries, and all of a sudden the colonies have come back to their own country. But there isn't many. I don't see many English people on the screen anymore.
What do you mean?
Are you watching a lot of TV? I'm not watching a lot of TV.
No, there's a lot of British people. They're third generation Jamaican, but they lived in England. But like in Australia, it's like saying I don't see many Aboriginals on television. In England, I don't see many English people, the natives, the First Nation white people, basically.
Mm. Who wants to watch that?
Well, I do because, my demographic's not being serviced. Like, if we're going for this equality thing, why is okay? How about this?
Seem very secular demographic.
In Hollywood, they hate redheaded people, and all the villains are English or British.
That's fair enough.
You watch anything from the 80s.
To stop doing that.
Yeah, you watch Star Wars, and and Star Wars, all the lieutenants and captains in the Empire are all Shakespearean actors. You may fire when ready. Lord Vader. It's like, what is this thing? Yeah, why is this like 200 years of angst that the Americans are like, oh, we need a villain here. Oh, we'll hire a POM. Yeah.
What we need for these commander type roles is someone who seems to know what they're doing somewhat. What we need in that case is the same thing that most TV went through in the last 10 years or so, which is trying to make their show look smarter by having someone with an English accent presenting.
Yeah, like Julian Glover, who's a wonderful actor. He was the old guy, the main villain in Indiana Jones 4. He's the one who chose poorly. He drinks from the Holy Grail and he dies. He's a fantastic actor. He's in one of the best Doctor Who stories, City of Death. He's actually in Empire Strikes Back, and he's the General Veers. He's the one in the AT-ATs or the big clunking things go on Snow Planet. Yeah. It's like, oh, Lord Vader, yes, the invasion's going well. The shield will be down in just a few moments. You can start your landing now. And it's like, oh, so rich and British. But that's the American way of, for a while, during the 80s and 90s, every villain was English. It's kind of interesting. As well as now, they hate redheaded people. There's never any redheaded people.
That is the way. This is the way forward.
Yeah.
Have we stooped to gingers now? Are we talking about gingers?
Monty did.
Well, how did that happen, Cortek? I thought you were watching things.
I thought I was too, and then
I looked up the word,
and all of a sudden, I looked away, and he's past me, and.
Sorry, Mr. Bruno. I just looked away, and he went past me.
And then my gun jammed.
Yeah, exactly. I love doing 12th man quotes because 6 people know what I'm talking about, and there's 300 people listening. What? They're doing obscure Australian comedy references from the 80s. But I looked up the word equality, and I've seen there's a lot of attractive redheaded women. Now in Ireland they have a redhead festival. Oh, it's just it's heaven, ladies and gentlemen. Especially got green eyes.
Yeah,
Sounds like
it is.
Smitten.
Oh, it's a beautiful people, red hair and green eyes, man. Seriously.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, they'll bring up reparations for the slaves, but they won't include the Irish or the Chinese because it smashes their narrative. And I still maintain it. I don't know if it's still going on, but the Twitter war between Africans and African Americans was pure bliss to watch. You had African Americans going, "My life sucks," and Africans going, "Shut up, you know nothing."
What life?
Yeah, I'm tweeting from a shack next to my armadillo. Go away.
You know what I saw recently to buck the trend? With people who didn't understand the new medium where you get to control the video games, in video game news anyway, Video Game Corner. The latest study is gone from, video games make people go into school and kill people to backflip to video games suggest they actually boost intelligence. Now, if you were looking, you should know this from a long time.
Well, yeah, like you would be well versed in Gamergate then, which was what, 2014?
This was when a lot of people on Reddit got together to boost stuff. Was that right? Something else?
No, a couple of journalists started complaining about all the shoot 'em up games were sexist and all this stuff, and they wanted equality and everything else like that, and that's how it came out as Gamergate. The video game industry is full of misogynists and perverts and everything else like that. And that sort of kicked off all the insanity we've been seeing for the last 5-8 years.
Wow. There's a lot of guy devs. There's not a lot of girl devs. If you want to make it different, get out there and study. Put your heart into something.
Yeah, and how many, if you've been on Twitch, how many, well, now granted, they're mostly naked, but how many women are still, there are girl gamers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who plays.
It does exist, but not enough girl devs, not enough girls who see the technology and would like to make their own worlds. This is something that recently, in just going a little bit deeper into Gamer Corner, there's something that's come out by Epic Games called Unreal Engine 5, and it's a complete game changer. If you want to get on and start making your own worlds, get into that right now. It's free. Go on to download Epic Games installer, which is kind of the main competitor to Steam, which is the top dog in online gaming world. You don't buy discs anymore. It's just in the cloud, and then whatever computer you want to log into, you can download your game files for that. But Epic, as well as their game files, that's where you download Unreal Engine 5, and it's what Matrix used for basically the whole movie.
Yeah.
You can actually, if your computer's got enough grunt, you can download the actual Matrix street files, which is like the whole city, and you can be third person in there looking around, and it's like photorealistic. This is where we are now. What's so amazing about Unreal Engine 5 is that you can, it's like before, when you were dealing with wireframes, you had to set things up and then render it to see exactly what you had in terms of how lighting would work and all that kind of stuff. Unreal Engine is just a game changer because it's got this new lighting system that means you can see how everything's going to work without rendering it, without baking it, which can take a long time. And it's phenomenal. They're just doing it. There's about 3 or 4 points which make this just such a game changer in terms of making movies, in terms of making video games. I mean, the game engine, you probably
Cortek.
You want to make something out of it, but it's a game changer.
Let me just say that I actually know a little bit about this Cortek because it's come up in my day job, and I've had a couple clients that have leveraged off of Unreal Engine 5. I got another one coming up too. I can't say their name, but I knew nothing about gaming, but I had to do research to do this writing and get paid. And this Unreal Engine 5 thing
it's huge.
It's going to become the underpinning of I think virtual realities and everything, right? Like it's like a big leap forward in computing, and it's not even gaming anymore. Let's call it what it is. It's virtualization, 3D virtualization.
Yeah,
and I'm not going into that
since '96 anyway.
This is a big jump, though. This is a big jump for people to do it.
People in the know. Why exactly is Unreal Engine better than all the other engine?
Basically, because of the new lighting system. Because the new lighting system, it's incredible. It doesn't just do sources from one bit. It gets the light that bounces off the other surfaces, and you're doing it real time without baking.
Did you watch the Matrix Unreal? Did you watch the Matrix Unreal 5 engine? Show, trailer, whatever it was?
I think the whole movie was kind of done in Unreal Engine, from what I've heard. The characters, everything. Like, it was
you see, when it comes to gaming, each game is based on either their own inbuilt engine or a commercial engine like Unreal Engine or CryEngine. Each engine is good at one thing because they were designed from ground up to do that. Now, they are designed from ground up to do that so they don't selfishly hog resource when you add it later on. Unreal Engine is famous because Unreal Engine has the best physics mechanics in the world. CryEngine has the best graphics in the world. CryEngine were making things look realistic all the way back in 2012.
Is that for stills or moving?
Everything. Destruction physics, particle physics, lighting physics, dust particle physics. If you have lens flare physics, if you have everything is now automatically generated by the engine itself. Yeah. And that's the beauty of Unreal 5 engine. So when you do an explosion, the engine itself will calculate where exactly the chunks of debris will fall. Before, you had to manually code every single fall for every single debris. It will take forever to do that.
Yeah, there's a massive thing on the side of just on how they've compressed the polygon count to be able to make massive scenes of worlds or cities or whatever.
I'll tell you something funny about polygon counts. When the first Batman Arkham game came out, an entire courtyard was, say, X polygon. 3 games later in the same series, Batman alone had more polygons in him than the entire courtyard of the game. It was
the bit I understand is like if you look at the Lord of the Rings films, they sort of created their own. I think it's called Massive at the time. Yeah. It's the name of the program. It was also Massive because they couldn't get all the extras. Like there's tens of thousands of orcs, and when they did The Hobbit, obviously the technology and the programming was so much advanced. Imagine those films being created today.
I reckon if that created today, you would have the remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where all the Oompa Loompas didn't look exactly like each other, and you feel kind of cheated that they didn't really hire 30.
If you guys have time, people. Watch Love, Death and Robot, and it will let you know how using real life actors is a thing of the past.
I love that series. It's
I
great.
love Death and Robot. There's
Love,
so
Death
many
and
great
Robots
stories.
on Netflix as well. There's Love, Death and the Robots season 2 is either out or it's coming up very, very soon. It's a collection of short animations
Shorts, yeah.
done by different people, so it's super eclectic. And there's this one episode or one animation someone did where there's people to kind of move into this house and there's this old fridge and they open the fridge
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I
and
know
all
that one.
the ice and condensation's kind of built up around the edges when they open the door, so you can only see this kind of brick size hole into it. And there's this whole kind of reality going on there, this kind of
Yeah, there's an
civilization living.
evolution going on. Yeah,
It's just
I think
so many
I
different
think in
things.
that series everyone loved the Aquila Rift when those guys got stuck in the Aquila Rift and they were actually being lulled by a spider alien thing. Everyone loved that one. So when you watch these Love, Death and Robot shorts, you will understand how actors are a thing of the past in terms of I need to cast a Witcher, so I'm gonna use someone who looks similar to that Witcher. We don't need that anymore.
No.
We can create the Witcher from the video game now. We can create the superhero character now, and we can make him more realistic than the real guy now. But they don't want to do it.
No, that's Hollywood. These are a bunch of know-nothing dinosaurs who will only kind of work out that they should have done something when it's too late.
Look at Han Solo. Someone did a deep fake with Harrison's face on it, and it was awesome to watch the guy. It felt so realistic. And the only time officially we have a deep fake is Luke Skywalker, and they had to do it.
Yeah, the first one was terrible, and the second one's a little bit less terrible.
Yeah.
There's a Hollywood movie that came out about 4 years, probably about more like 6 or 7 years ago, about the first person who is an aging Hollywood actress, and she's approached by the studio because she's either she's getting to the twilight kind of years. She gets approached to sell her likeness, and so then her likeness or her face then can be reused or made a little bit younger or anything like that for future versions of films. And it as you'd expect, it kind of all goes a bit wrong, and she wishes she didn't. But it's super interesting to think about.
Yeah, if you remember seeing Captain Marvel, if you went through that 2 hours of pain, it was Samuel L. Jackson, but they de-aged him, and it looked really good up until he ran, because he ran like a 70-year-old, not a 35-year-old.
I mean, we have technology. You can watch Tupac live.
Yeah, they did it at Coachella.
There's the Dio hologram as well. And so, I mean, there are in Archer, Krieger, the science guy, actually has a hologram girlfriend, and they keep having arguments, breaking up. But there are Japanese men who have married their virtual reality girlfriend, and there are actually virtual reality pop stars in Asia as well.
Hiyo.
Can I bring up this thing again from last week? It's kind of went under the radar, which is it's on topic.
Yeah.
About the ficto. I don't know what the kind of name is, but he's a fictosexual man, which means
what?
He's fictosexual, which I mean I think he's come up with it himself. That term, which means he just thinks about having sex, maybe. He's a fictosexual man who married a hologram, like legally married a hologram, and can no longer speak with his wife due to a software glitch.
The Greeks have a word for that. It's called solipsism. He does everything in his head.
Did you see? There's a bodybuilder that married his sex doll.
No, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, he had to divorce her because he broke her. He had to get a new one.
We need a Taken movie where someone's sex doll gets stolen and just I don't know.
I've got a certain set of skills. I'm a mechanic for one.
I certainly hope that this roundtable doesn't degenerate to Albanian bashing.
No one will want that.
There are always Albanians in those Taken movies, right? Apparently the Albanians are pretty nasty, like long history of criminal organization. some kind of European gypsy. I don't know much about them.
Well, the Turkish weren't really very nice to them in like 1920, 1922. So.
Uh-huh.
And the Turkish government still refuses to acknowledge the genocide. Yeah.
No.
Can't leave you in a good mood at the breakfast table.
Or was that Albania? No.
That's
Armenia.
Armenians, Monty. Oh my God.
Albanians are different.
Oh, I failed geography. Sue me.
Well,
Bruce, I thought Serbians were the most, feisty, sort of criminal type. Not just criminal, but they're very physical. Serbians.
This reads like a lot of countries who have had it tough for a long time and done what they've had to do to get by, at the very least. I feel compassion for anyone.
So we've got an apologist on the call. Oh no, they're just trying to survive.
Sorry from Australia. There it is.
Well,
it makes you feel better. At least it's some kind of healing.
It's okay. It's okay, Cortek, because one day everyone would look like Zendaya and Tom Holland. We would all be happy forever after that.
I found out this week. The brain trust at Sony. They had the
Sony Records.
They're making movies, so maybe not records. Maybe it's the movie division.
Sony.
Anyway, they own the rights to Spider-Man, and that's why Marvel are like, oh, all right, we'll work with you because we want the money. However, the Chinese government said, oh, you'll have to remove the Statue of Liberty, and Sony said no, and they didn't release Spider-Man in China. They'd rather keep the movie artistically the right way instead of trying to get all the money from the Chinese market. Which is pretty cool.
Good on them not sucking up to someone who just wants to change the artistic integrity for their means. Take that out of there. Just suck it. Enjoy it or don't enjoy
it. Well, I mean, the Chinese government aren't really nice, are they? You remember John Cena came out. He referred to Taiwan as a country and got in trouble from the Chinese, and so he actually spoke Mandarin and sucked up their ass, saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
His name is Sean Sheena.
Yeah, because he doesn't have enough money, and I mean, I keep forgetting to call China West Taiwan because I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Can you hear how much Bruce is laughing?
Yeah, that's some solid material there. I'm laughing on the inside.
Did you hear? Oh no, you go.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that racial issues are an issue here tonight. Is that what I'm hearing? Like race? Is it about race, Monty? Are we talking about race?
That's on page 2 of the Divide and Conquer.
Just like a white man to take control of the.
Monty, I am the only one of my kind where I live. My son left last week. I am the only one of my. I am the last of the dog men.
He left to go into the forest, not he left. Yeah. That was the forest thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you said that, Bruce, the last of the Mohicans soundtrack started playing in the background.
Yeah. So, hopefully that won't be a big deal much longer. But there's a lot of racial tension in the world right now. And who experiences that most severely? Well, multicultural countries, I think, really. And but it's funny as you get into this whole race thing because everybody's got, I don't know how else to say it. I would say race karma, let's say. Costa Rica has big time race karma with the Nicaraguans. Not so much the Panamanians. The Panamanians don't come up here. Panama's fine. It's good enough. They got a good economy, nice cities. But the Nicaraguans, man, they just flood in here. And
why Nicaragua is it bordering?
One more time there.
Why Nicaragua? Is it bordering Costa Rica?
Yeah, it's at the northern border of Costa Rica. Costa Rica is bordered by Nicaragua and Panama.
Okay.
And yeah, so they're trying to isolate Ortega, but it's it's hard, man. There's always somebody to support you down here in Latin America, right? Like Venezuela or Bolivia or something like that. So it's very possible this whole region could go communist. Very, very possible, actually. It could light up like a forest fire. It all depends what happens in America.
All depends on whether people try and dictate what helping your fellow man is called, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It sounds quite healthy if that's the way it is, because countries should be helping people. Countries should be helping their neighbour. They shouldn't be conspiring against them.
Yeah, but also after you've looked after yourself. Like, why is the US sending $40 billion to the Ukraine?
Hopefully that won't happen. It sounds like the most ridiculous thing at this time, when people are crying that the country can't support itself, to be funneling that much out. And if the last 3 years weren't enough of a daylight robbery of every country and every government on the planet through these people, how are these people not under scrutiny? How are people like Fauci not, answering questions in a court?
Well, we've answered this question many, many times.
Yes, Cortek.
Well, we should be still saying it.
Yeah,
but is Cortek's white entitlement here? He expresses it on
and how are you going to how are you going to express that enforcement of the law? That's the problem. There's nothing to enforce this law. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But we've been joined by a fellow Victorian who's in Queensland the last time we met him. We will find out where he is now. Everyone say hello to Harry.
Sweet Jesus.
Hello,
Harry.
How's the whiz? Hello, Harry. How's the whiz going?
Great.
Are you still house sitting?
Yeah, I'm adjusting to the new environment and loving it.
Heat or the size of the beers?
Oh no heat here. It's been raining cats and dogs for the last, since I've arrived. Basically, I think we've had 1 or 2 clear days.
That's not quite weather.
Harry, how's that rash? Did you get the antibiotic cream I recommended?
Which one was it?
Never mind, Harry. Just keep going.
I think it was.
Ayo.
He was having a crack. Having an ass crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. If Bruce MacDonald has a one-man show, he doesn't have an audience. It's just him in front. This is cracking me up.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
It was a little bit funny. Like the higher got over the line.
So generally, traveling people don't have the ability to shower every day, right? If you're living in a van or something. So.
Hey, I was at home, didn't have the ability to shower every day.
Yeah, I think that's a choice, really. Get a bucket, put some holes in it, mate.
Hey, no, it's been raining here. I've been running out in the rain in the middle of the night. So
that's technically a shower.
Naked. It's called streaking.
What's going on there, Harry? Are you just like walking through the fields? Like, you're on a walkabout? What's going on? What's all this traveling about?
I'm on a roamabout rather than a walkabout. I've got a caravan, and I'm at the moment I'll be house sitting for 3 months, but on a property that's got like bananas and dragon fruit and everything you can imagine.
Dragon fruit.
All tomatoes all year round, cherry tomatoes all year round type scenario, weather.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I've moved into this tropical paradise or subtropical paradise, and it's really lovely. And just getting adjusted, 27 acres, and
do you have to do any farming duties while you're there?
Well, not really. It's all sort of being taken care of because it's sort of winter season, and the grass doesn't grow as much as it does in summer.
Right. Sweet. Dragon fruit's kind of crazy looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll all be done before I go. So, and I mean, I've got access to all the tractors and
motorbikes, ATVs,
and all the shit. No, it's not that big a property. It's only like 27 acres. Just walk around it.
You know?
Yeah, but you wouldn't. Right, there's a motorbike around.
Yeah. My flat's got 2 bedrooms, and I need a scooter. So raise a scooter to get around. It's 27 acres. Like, that's at least another station away.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was in a town called Maryborough, which is the closest town today, closest town to where I live, and just checking them out. But I noticed the demographics. There's a lot of old people wandering around, retirees, and stuff.
Like wandering around like zombies.
Yeah, and a lot of them on those, frames and cart and little 4-wheel motor things.
I like those little mobility cars when they get the flags on them and some of them kind of hot rod them up and stuff. You go, I don't know why people just don't get their normal license and go twice as fast because they got less time to live.
Yeah, I was turning left at the lights today and, I just pulled up to the, I didn't go left, but I pulled over a little bit forward to let the cars go behind me past. And this lady on a mobility scooter thing or whatever it was, she gave me the filthiest look and she was off at me. And I'm going, what? And I just shook my head, as she went past. And then I looked up and the lady driving a disability bus was looking at me scowling because I was shaking my head at the lady going.
Yeah, but I was watching.
I thought, great.
I had an image that because the Queen's got mobility issues, is she going to go around the Royal Mobility scooter?
She's going to get one with 2 fake horses out the front, entirely encrusted in gold.
No.
With a lance.
She can do a little upwards wave
to run down some poor people.
She'll get the corgis to pull it.
Yeah. On Vixen, on. Whoosh. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, or get Prince Andrew because he's a scum.
I get the feeling she might be pulling up stumps quite a little bit before the century is done.
Oh well, yeah. She has to make it to her platinum jubilee, and then she'll probably drop off about 2-3 months after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's psychic.
I don't think she's.
Well, no, I thought. Well, yeah. Once Prince Philip dropped body, because that's usually what happens where couples that have been married for decades, when one goes, the other one goes pretty soon afterwards.
I'm pretty sure they weren't a team for about 50 years. She's gotten used to it.
Gee, that's encouraging for my mother then, because my dad passed about 10 years ago.
It's not a hard and fast rule. I mean, it's different for everybody. Some people are, I'm glad he's gone. I can go out now. I can
White
have
woman
scones.
Funerals. It depends how attached you were.
Yeah, and but they will make sure that she's still alive for a platinum, which is what, in about a month and a half or something like that. And she'll be the longest running reigning monarch in modern history.
That's what they did for that president down in South Africa, wasn't it? He was in jail for a while. They died and they pretend he had.
You forgot Nelson Mandela's name? Wow.
No, hey, Nelson and me are like this. Like,
well, you know the Mandela effect is named after him.
Yeah.
Actually, they've reformed that. They put these. He's got some tattoos on his face now. It's called the Mandela effect.
Hey, wasn't that all about going to the Cortek monument? Cortek monument is this monument made by this weird dude over in South Africa. Go check it out, look it up. And one time per year, it has this beam of light that comes down and hits this spot where you could put something else that it does seem like type beam communication from another planet to me.
No, the Mandela effect is basically something has changed in the timeline because people believe that when Nelson Mandela died, recently when Obama was in office, people thought he died 15 years earlier. And that's how the Mandela effect got its name, because I haven't met anyone that
only about 3 or 4 months.
See, wait till the end of the sentence.
Was there a joke coming?
Why?
Huh?
I don't know, Cortek.
Is that it?
Cortek broke the round table.
Did I?
He broke it. Like a glass off the kitchen table.
I'm not going to get my deposit back now.
He did seem like he was dead for about 3 or 4 months until people could get over there with an excuse, his funeral, to all be at this Cortek.
There was that as well, where I think he died 6 months beforehand, and then they had the funeral. Oh, he's dead now. But the actual Mandela effect is people thought he died in the 90s.
Okay, well that never happened. Let's get away from this Mandela effect.
That's the actual effect.
Is he dead now?
I think everyone on this round table should be in the same room one day so I can punch you all. Well, actually, not all of you.
Except me.
Get us to stand in a circle.
I'm not getting that
just
punch.
go cartoon stuff. That'd be cool. I'll be up for that.
But is he dead now?
No, apparently not. He's in a 7-Eleven with Elvis in Mexico. Apparently, there was a sighting last week. I heard. It's broken, isn't it?
If he's dead now, then that effect is null and void, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if a butterfly flaps its wings...
Do you want me to dumb it down even more?
Yeah, dumb it down a shade.
Okay, well, can you just, get a brick and slam your head 3 times, and then it should help?
You're not going to talk about the Mandela effect, as long as you're not talking about the Mandela effect.
So anyway, the thing about the Mandela effect is that in your personal timeline, things happened, and then as we're migrating into one timeline to go through the bottleneck of whatever this crap is, things in the past change. And so the biggest one that I'm aware of is the comedian / actor Sinbad. In my timeline, he made a movie called Shazam. Now, according to Sinbad, he never made that movie. And the thing is, you can't really prove it because it's not in the timeline. It's all based on people's memories. And so you can't actually argue with anyone because it's all personal timelines.
What about like actual proof of the covers of the DVDs and stuff?
Well, if there's proof, how can there be a Mandela effect if there's proof?
Well, I don't know. This is what I think.
I like your commitment to the written word and pictures for this radio show, Cortek.
Yeah, it's an audio medium.
This is actually quite true. Mandela effect can only be Mandela effect if we have some form of contrast control. This is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I never thought of that.
Yeah, because people now the memory cheats. To quote John Nathan Turner from Doctor Who, people would say remembering Darth Vader saying to Luke Skywalker, "Luke, I am your father." But that doesn't make sense in conversation. You just remember it that way. The actual conversation is Darth Vader says to Skywalker, Obi-Wan didn't tell you about what happened to your father. And Luke said, he told me that you killed him. And then Vader says, no, I am your father. And so people think that's a Mandela effect, but they've remembered it wrong. Because in context, when you're in a conversation, it's like, Luke, I'm your father. But he didn't say that because it doesn't make sense. Why would he call him Luke when in the conversation?
Oh, man. Thank God. I'm going to sleep easy tonight. Thanks, Monty.
I go to sleep like a baby, I reckon. Knowing that.
Well, really going to yell and scream and shit your pants.
Wow!
I think this 2030 target has a Mandela effectiveness about it.
How? That's in the Mandela effect is from a past timeline. But explain how it can be a future timeline.
Because in 2030 they'll say, "See, we told you so," and they've changed all the details along the way when they want to get this whole new,
Well, then what happened to 2021, Agenda 21, which was last year?
Yeah, that never happened.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
That was also known as Soylent Green attention. I think that was the year Soylent Green was supposed to be set in. It's either 21 or 22.
Yeah, it's around about now. And that, to me, that gives me optimism of the idiots in charge. They're failing ever so slightly because they're, Agenda 21. Crap. That's next week. Agenda 30. And so their plans keep getting kicked down they're kicking the can down the road.
They should know from now that anything that they try will just rebound twice as harsh against them. This seems to be the energy that we're in. Any fight you start, anything that you try to cover up, anything where you aren't being straight up about it is going to be to your detriment.
I agree.
That's the interesting thing of what they learned from Hitler is you can't go too hard and fast because there'll be pushback. You can't go totally authoritarian because people will notice. And that's why they're doing it slowly. But we're getting to the crunch point where their transparency through hypocrisy, where they're trying to do it now, but a lot of people are going, "What are you doing? Stop that."
Nothing that they do will go unnoticed.
I think they've had that agenda long before that illegitimate Rothschild got into the scene.
Did he go to his grave basically on his deathbed, being told everybody in the world hates you, and he went, "What? Really?"
Who?
Rothschild Senior. Like the whole thing was just.
Okay, well, the Rothschilds have been around for 3
speak up
centuries. You want to scale it down a bit?
The latest one. So
Are you referring to David Rothschild? David
the latest
Rockefeller.
one that looked like Monty Burns. When he died, he apparently came out with, it's really surprising that everyone hates me. Like the people who are actually doing this just need a figure for people to hate. Just like Microsoft computer guy, what's his name? Bill Gates.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not to try and answer your question. I'm not sure about the Rothschild, but I do remember like when David Rockefeller died, no one was upset about it. And I found that highly amusing. I jokingly say even the Dalai Lama's gone, yes.
So it's interesting to think about.
Never mind. I was going to say something, but
Well, it's interesting to think about if these people are just figureheads for this hate.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
Okay, fair enough. Not fair enough.
Mind you, also, David Rockefeller had 9 heart transplants. And the interesting thing is when you have a heart transplant, it's basically the heart and the body has to shake hands energetically and metabolically. And I think everyone realized, oh, crap, I'm in Rockefeller. Die, you bastard.
This was not working either. Get another one.
Whoa.
I mean, Darth Cheney was on a heart machine for 18 months because obviously I was like, no, I don't want to go into that. We've come to the end of Planet Collingwood. It's a bit argy-bargy, but yeah.
Yeah, that was short and sweet.
Well, for you turned up 20 minutes. We've been going for 2 hours. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please donate to the station or myself on YouTube, unless I get throttled on Rumble and everything else like that. Thank you, Bull Boys. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, the cheerleaders. Well, I've got to thank the cheerleaders. Say good night, everyone.
You are the resistance.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah. I love you from afar. We'll keep it that way. Good night, everyone.